The Ripper. The Ripper is an attacker-type vital instrument owned by the best girl herself, Riyo Reaper. At first, it looks like an ordinary pair of salon scissors, but once Riyo activates it, the weapon transforms into a huge weapon nearly as tall as she is. The smooth blades twist into sharp edges, with the left blade shining silver white and the right one turning pitch black. Usually, Riyo doesn't even hold the Ripper with her hands. She wields it with her feet, slicing straight through trash beasts like their tough armor is nothing. She's fast enough to reach their core in under a minute, which shows just how insanely sharp her weapon is. The thing is, Riyo doesn't swing this huge weapon around all the time. Her natural fighting style is up close and barehanded, which has a lot to do with her hidden past. She'll pressure her opponent, and right at the perfect moment, she'll unleash the Ripper to land a clean, critical cut before they even realize what happened. As a cleaner, Riyo has eyes like a predator. She can actually picture in her head whether or not she can slice something. This imagination matters, because if she believes she can cut it, her scissors will break through. If she doesn't, the cut will be weaker. That's why spherical objects give her trouble. If there's no notch to grip, the Ripper can't get the right angle, and the strike ends up weaker than usual. Still, this weapon has proven itself against some of the strongest defensive vital instruments out there. In her fight against Felix, Riyo pulled off something crazy. With Zonka's help and Gil's unexpected batter strike, she timed and positioned the Ripper perfectly to slice through Felix's defensive Jinki. Felix thought his barrier was unbreakable because it was filled with his love and feelings. But according to Riyo, when love is too strong, it's easy to let cracks slip in. And if things go really south, Riyo has another secret weapon from her hidden past. Injin banned her from sending people to the graveyard, so Riyo only pulls out this hidden weapon in emergencies. Even then, she tries to hold back. But you can tell, deep down, she actually wanted to finish her enemies. And here's the crazy part. You see, this hidden weapon isn't even a vital instrument. And among all the attacker-type Jinkis, there's one out there that turns defense into pure offense, unleashing burst damage on par with the strongest vital instruments in the entire world. Lovely assist staff. At first glance, it looks like nothing more than a plain wooden stick. But once Zonka Nijiku activates it, the staff transforms into an attacker-type close-range weapon. The top splits and bulks up, bolts appear, and the bandages get replaced by two deadly blades tied on with rope. Each blade comes packed with 4 spikes underneath and 2 curved edges on the sides, making this thing capable of smashing, slicing, and trapping all at the same time. When Zonka was still training to be a Hell Guardsman, he chose this stick on purpose. According to Injin, this type of staff was the kind of thing only monks would pick. Zonka wanted to prove that he was different from everyone else, not just some average fake, so he deliberately picked a weapon that looked beat up and useless. Basically, he thought people might look at it and go, "Oh, that's actually a strong weapon." But the truth is, it didn't work out like he imagined. This stick wasn't even seen as a real weapon. Compared to the ordinary blade chosen by his genius rival Hyo, the staff didn't even measure up. What matters is that Zonka never gave up on this so-called junk stick. He stuck with it, and over time, the staff awakened into his very own vital instrument. As a cleaner, Zonka has found tons of creative ways to use it. The rounded tip lets him throw it to pin down enemies like a trap. He has managed to catch cats, trash beasts, and who knows what else with it. He can spin it fast or whip it around, landing a flurry of hits in seconds. When he plants it in the ground, it picks up vibrations, letting him sense enemies even when they're out of sight. And because of the sharp blades, the staff can slice through clay dolls, Gil's baseball projectiles, and probably even tougher opponents. With this attacker-type vital instrument, Zonka has taken down giant trash beasts. Thanks to the brutal training he went through with his sister, he's mastered the lovely assist staff, using it in smart, creative ways that make his attacks unpredictable. Gilro. Normally, Gilro is just a baseball bat, but in Gil's hands, this thing becomes a deadly long-range weapon. Her entire fighting style revolves around swinging her bat and launching baseballs at her enemies. Sounds simple, until you realize that the balls don't stop once they're hit. Even if she misses, the ball curves back and keeps chasing the target until it lands a hit. The force behind these shots is no joke. One ball from Gilro was strong enough to break Rudo's arm on impact. And she doesn't have to stop at just one. Gil can send out multiple balls at once, turning the battlefield into a storm of projectiles. Once Gil orders a ball to hit someone, she can't control it anymore. The ball will keep chasing its target until it connects with some part of their body. Dodging doesn't really work because her breaking balls will just keep coming back until they score a hit. Against strong opponents like Zonka, the balls can be deflected or destroyed. This will stop the chasing mechanism of the balls, but that only proves how insane their speed and power really are. They move fast, almost like bullets from a firearm. The trick is that Gilro can turn any spherical object into what she calls a breaking ball. As long as Gil has the energy to swing her bat, she'll never run out of ammo. She always carries plenty of balls hidden under her oversized hat, so she's never empty-handed in a fight. And because of this endless supply of spheres and her incredible swing power, Gil can keep fighting for as long as her stamina holds out. Unbreaker. Normally, Unbreaker is nothing more than an old umbrella. The handle is wrapped in bandages, the canopy is torn and dirty, and it's covered with random stickers as if it's been through years of wear and tear. But the moment Engine activates it, this old umbrella transforms into a sick attacker-type weapon. The metal ribs of the canopy extend into razor-sharp blades. The stickers vanish and are replaced by neat-looking symmetrical markings. And even the handle shifts from round to square. The tip on the top grows into a massive spike, sharp enough to drive straight into the ground. Once it's active, Engine can spin it like a drill, shredding anything that gets too close. One of his signature moves is Octa Shredder, where he drops from the sky like a giant spear and smashes into the ground with brutal force, dealing massive damage to trash beasts. When he fought the eyeless trash beast to save Rudo, he spun Unbreaker so fast it whipped up a powerful wind, pulling the monster in and tearing them apart before they could even move. With Octa Shredder, he destroyed several instantly. But Unbreaker isn't just about offense. Because it is big and sturdy enough to carry multiple people safely through the air, Engine has even used it like a parachute. The thing is, Unbreaker reflects Engine himself. Vital instruments are shaped by their user's experience and beliefs. And for Engine, the umbrella has a deeper meaning. A person who stands out, who can bring people together, and who serves as a symbol for others. Mancura. Mancura are 10 ordinary rings, one on each of Jabberwonger's fingers. But when this vital instrument activates, those rings transform into 2 massive claws. And the scary part is, Mancura isn't just an attacker-type weapon. It has 2 separate modes, and Jabber usually keeps it suppressed. In its normal state, Mancura's right claw is laced with a powerful neurotoxin. Just a single scratch is enough to paralyze even someone as tough as Zonka. Jabber actually gets bored of using the same poison over and over, so Mancura lets him change it. As long as he's come into contact with another toxin, acid, venom, or anything deadly, he can recreate it and switch it up mid-fight. The left claw works differently. It copies poisons that Jabber has absorbed into his own body. All he has to do is touch it or test it on himself, and Mancura stores it. That means he can combine poisons, mix effects together, and invent new blends during battle. The claws themselves aren't just for poison, they're sharp enough to slice through solid stone. A single swing leaves a deep cut, and Jabber can even hook them into walls to hold his position. If he ever gets hurt, he can flood his own body with the right claw's neurotoxins to shut off pain completely. Basically, he can fight like nothing's wrong, even when he's bleeding. But most of the time, Jabber holds back. He keeps the rings in their suppressed form and just plays around in fights. That's because he's too strong, and most enemies bore him. Instead of looking for people to crush, he's waiting for someone, anyone besides his boss, who can actually crush him. When Jabber finally gets serious, Mancura enters its release state. The claws get larger, and wires attach them to his fingers, giving him more reach and flexibility. He can swing them wide for sweeping attacks or spin them fast enough to defend himself. One of his signature moves is called Stormy Weather, where he whirls around with the claws extended, creating a blade tornado that shreds anything unlucky enough to be nearby. In released mode, Jabber's left claw develops 3 brutal toxins. The first shuts down all 5 senses, leaving victims completely helpless. The second is a neurotoxin that makes enemies feel euphoric, like they're high, while their bodies break down. And the third is an illusory hallucinogen that traps opponents in fake visions. When he used it on Zonka, the effects were so overwhelming that Zonka couldn't tell what was real anymore. He thought he was having some kind of anime flashback awakening. But in truth, he was just laughing uncontrollably as his mind spiraled out of control. Hands. Bundis Begalkeet's vital instrument is a huge mechanical shoulder pad with 6 sealed compartments. But inside each one sits a prosthetic arm, and Bundis can summon them whenever he wants. All 6 of his hands' arms came from Bundis' very first prosthetic, each one tied to a different part of his life, his personality, and the experiences he went through. Just like an aberrant trash beast, Hands has a core. That means even if Bundis' prosthetic arms get destroyed, they'll just repair or regenerate on their own. Hand number 2 came when Bundis was 18, in his edgy teenage phase. Sharp, vicious, and built with talons that slice clean through anything. It's basically a weaponized version of the cutting remarks he used to throw around back then. Hand number 3 was made when he turned 20, a time when he wanted to quote-unquote stretch his wings. Fittingly, this one can stretch far across the battlefield, letting him attack from a long range or land surprise blows when the enemy thinks they're safe. Hand number 5 was built when Bundis was 35, during the most chaotic stage of his life. This arm is completely unpredictable, twisting and warping into monstrous shapes. Its strikes are almost impossible to read. Hand number 6 represents Bundus at 40, who is calmer and more conservative. This hand doesn't lash out wildly. Instead, it hardens, grows large, and serves as a defensive wall that can tank direct hits. The powers of hand number 1 and hand number 4 are still a mystery, but Bundus' main prosthetic hides another feature. He can launch smaller robotic hands and fingers through pipes in the arm, giving him even more tools to fight with. As a battle-hardened veteran, Bundus knows exactly which prosthetic to pull out and when to use it. Against multiple cleaners at once, he calmly cycles through his arsenal, pulling the perfect counter every single time. Comb. Noerde Hugh Amazos' vital instrument looks like nothing more than a wide-toothed comb. But when she activates it, her hair itself turns into a weapon. The comb charges it with static electricity. Normally, plastic builds up naturally, but as a vital instrument, that effect is amplified. Her hair practically comes alive, sparking with energy, and she can shape it however she wants. For example, long whips that snap like lightning, strands that wrap and shock, or spikes that stab and electrocute. Anything that touches it gets zapped, and the current is strong enough to stun or outright damage multiple enemies at once. However, the charge doesn't last forever. Noerde can cut it off on purpose, but no matter what she does to hold it, the electricity dies out in a minute or two. That means her weapon works in bursts, not long drawn-out fights. But when things get desperate, she can go beyond her normal limits with a move called Last Burst. This is where she burns up every bit of static in her hair and unleashes it in a wide shockwave of electricity. It fries everything around her, basically an area of effect blast that can cause massive damage. After the skill is cast, her hair is completely ruined, scorched away until nothing's left but fried ends. Back when Zodil visited Celia, he met Noarde and complimented her hair. At first, Noarde took it the wrong way, thinking he was just another guy trying to sweet-talk her. But Zodil was simply speaking his mind. Basically, that one moment stuck with Noarde, and eventually, she became captivated by him, later joining the Raiders and receiving her comb from Zodil himself. Centriion. Believe it or not, this vital instrument is literally a pacifier. It belongs to Dear Santa, one of the Team Child cleaners. Despite how it looks, it's one of the scariest weapons in terms of raw potential. When activated, the pacifier's rounded tips at the top grow oversized, and the handle splits into 2 sharp spikes shaped like vampire fangs. Perfect for a weapon that specializes in sucking away power. Centrion's main ability is called Drain. Every time Dear Santa lands an attack, no matter how weak it looks, the pacifier drains a little more strength from the target. The more he drains, the stronger Dear becomes. Even if his punches start out as soft as a baby's, they add up. Every hit steals power, and with each bit of stolen strength, he hits harder and harder. Given enough time, Dear can bring down opponents way bigger than him, even gigantic trash beasts, by simply stacking their stolen energy until he can crush them outright. Cloth. Cloth is a strip of headband usually tied around Bro Santa's head. But once activated, this attacker-type weapon can extend to massive lengths and gain incredible stretchiness, almost like a living rope. Bro can snap it out to grab enemies, wrap them up tight, or even sling himself and others around the battlefield. It's both a weapon and a tool, letting him control the fight however he wants. One of the best examples of this is when he used Cloth to restrain Dear Santa. By slamming Dear into the wall with it, he actually set him up to use Centrion's Drain more effectively, letting Dear power up and punch through a trash beast's defenses. Heh. Fu Orister's vital instrument is a cursed doll with sentience we haven't seen in any other vital instrument. With its raccoon-like face and almost creepy grin, it already looks unsettling. However, what sets it apart is that it talks. Even when inactive, this doll speaks directly to Fu, almost like it has its own mind. Instead of transforming, it takes over Fu himself. When activated, it possesses his body, massively boosting his strength and speed. According to He, it's a pact. Whenever Fu doesn't have anyone giving him orders and feels the urge to wreck something, his body becomes his body. With He in control, Fu can annihilate trash beasts and even land clean hits on Jabber in seconds. Interestingly, Riyo saw it firsthand and wasn't even sure she could stop He in time if they fought each other. However, Fu has a deep-seated fear of responsibility. He literally can't act unless someone tells him what to do. That applies to using his vital instrument. He needs permission before He can take over. Once the command is given, He carries out the order completely. The name He most likely comes from the Japanese sound of a high-pitched shriek when someone is scared, which fits Fu's personality perfectly. Gita. Gita Hebi Fantasia's vital instrument looks like a giant monster onesie, the kind little kids wear in anime. But once she activates it, that cute outfit transforms into something terrifying. Gita transforms into a giant kaiju-like monster. Her size and strength shoot up dramatically, and that's not even her limit. She once mentioned she was only using level 3, which means she has multiple transformation stages. Higher levels could make her even bigger and stronger, but there's a risk. Speculatively, it might endanger not just enemies, but herself and her allies too. That's why Bro Santa keeps a close eye, making sure Gita doesn't push it too far. In fact, before transforming, she always asks Bro what level she should go to. When Gita activates her vital instrument, she hides inside the kaiju onesie and controls everything. It senses, its movements, all of it. Even though it looks like a monster, she stays fully herself. Her fluffy body even works like a cushion, letting her tank massive impacts. She once saved the whole squad by softening their fall near the border. Interestingly, when Rudo, Injin, and the others were getting sucked out by a trash storm, Gita was the only one not pulled in. Even Injin was struggling to hold on, but Gita didn't budge. That's when Bro and Injin realized she never needed their protection. Her onesie probably gives her some kind of weight control ability, but only for her. But if you look closely at chapter 79, Injin almost pulled out a hidden item from his bag. Something he clearly doesn't want to use unless he has no other choice. What exactly is that item? Well, that's still one of the many mysteries of Gachiakuta. So, if you want to uncover all the biggest unanswered questions in the series, check out this video where we break down Gachiakuta's biggest mysteries in just 25 minutes. Stuffed toy. Interestingly, another kaiju-style vital instrument is shown during the doll festival. When Maimo turns people into his puppets, one girl has a stuffed toy vital instrument that transforms into a giant monster, really similar to Gita's onesie. Just like Gita, it can transform into different stages. In its weaker form, the toy floats around, stretches its body like strings, grabs things with its plushy hands, and even hands out candy. But unlike Gita, the girl controls it from the outside, while Gita stays inside her onesie. The stuffed doll was crocheted by the girl's grandmother. Since she had no parents, her grandma made it so she'd never feel alone. But now, with her grandmother gone too, the girl enters the doll festival, hoping to show her grandma's spirit that she's grown up. When Maimo takes control of the girl, the stuffed toy gets way bigger and fast enough to chase Rudo. But alongside the other puppets during the doll festival, this kaiju-like toy was taken down by what's probably the strongest attacker-type vital instrument we've seen so far. Thirst Quencher. Delman Gates' attacker-type vital instrument looks like nothing more than a garden hose, but once activated, the nozzle transforms. The holes fuse into one, rings form around it, and the hose itself turns pitch black. It keeps evolving the more he uses it. Thirst Quencher manipulates water content. Anything it sprays starts absorbing liquid like a sponge. At first, it just swells, but if Delman keeps going, the target bursts apart from overabsorption. Plants, objects, even people. Nothing's safe once he cranks it up. The origin of this Jinki comes straight from Delman's past. Before becoming a cleaner, he used to live peacefully with his wife. His wife's dream was to see a flower bloom in the ground, a place where flowers were almost impossible to grow. Delman dedicated everything to that dream, and through his effort, his vital instrument was born. Thirst Quencher, or Ukikunare in Japanese, meaning grow big. His wife's joy at seeing that first flower became his mission, and Delman wanted to fill their home with flowers. But that dream ended in a tragedy. The raiders attacked their farm, and his wife was killed. From then on, the Thirst Quencher became a weapon. Delman can also swap between different nozzles depending on the situation. The silent nozzle is used for stealth. Just one spray can knock out a person instantly. He rarely uses it on a person, except when manipulated, like when Amo forced him to spray Injin unconscious. Then there's the strong pressure nozzle. It unleashes devastating high-pressure blasts, strong enough to punch large holes through whatever it touches. Against living targets, it's even worse. Delman can literally inflate their bodies like balloons before making them pop. Tokushin. Tamsi Kane's vital instrument is a wooden yarn winder, the kind you'd use to reel thread. But once activated, it completely changes form, expanding into a long staff packed with reinforced rope. The rounded ends vanish, the wood splits open, and thick, durable yarn spools out, ready to be used. With Tokushin, Tamsi can manipulate ropes however he wants. He can trap enemies, reel them in, or even reshape the thread into deadly constructs. One of his signature moves is called Net. Tamsi spins the rope in a wide circle around him, sweeping up anyone unlucky enough to be in range. From there, he follows up with the fan reeling, pulling the rope back tight and binding everything he caught in layer after layer of cord. More than just strong, the ropes tighten the more you struggle, like barbed wire digging deeper into your flesh. Tamsi can also reel in his ropes at high speeds, slamming whatever's trapped into the ground with enough force to wipe out their HP in one hit. But Tokushin has another hidden ability, something Tamsi doesn't openly show. By unraveling his yarn with precision, he can create humanoid thread clones. These clones are yarn figures with wings, almost like puppets come to life. They move at his command, attacking from long range, like stands straight out of JoJo. What's interesting is that Tokushin is usually a support tool, but in Tamsi's hands, this attacker-type vital instrument turns into a weapon with endless creative options. Like Jabber's Mankira, Tokushin isn't even in its released form. And knowing who Tamsi really is, you can bet he's holding back Tokushin suppressed on purpose. Allen. Allen is an attacker-type vital instrument, but it's special because it's also a defensive weapon. What makes it even more unique is that it's one of the newest vital instruments to awaken in the story, and the person using it wasn't even a giver at first. But before we dive in, quick spoiler warning. If you're not caught up with the manga and don't want any surprises ruined, skip this amount of seconds ahead to the next part. Everyone else, let's get into it. Allen is Fellow Tunito's vital instrument and is a hammer born out of stress. Literally, when it's activated, the hammer transforms into a massive weapon with a built-in shield across the front. That shield is sturdy enough to block blows from even giant trash beasts. Allen's defining ability is called stress accumulation. Every time the hammer is struck, pressured, or forced to defend, it absorbs that impact like emotional baggage being bottled up. And just like stress in real life, it doesn't stay hidden forever. Fellow can unleash all that built-up pressure in one explosive strike, the size and power depending on how much damage Allen has taken. Once it's released, the slate is wiped clean, and Fellow has to build it all up again. Because of this, Allen works on both offense and defense. It shields constantly, absorbs stress, and then turns all that tension into burst damage counterattacks at the perfect moment. Allen was originally found by Fellow's childhood friend, also named Allen, in a polluted zone. That Allen wanted to become a giver himself, to awaken the hammer as his own vital instrument. Unfortunately, he failed. Eventually, he entrusted the hammer to Fellow. Later, Rudo unconsciously infused his anima into Fellow, which triggered his own awakening as a giver. That's how the hammer finally came alive. Fellow named it Allen in honor of the friend who first discovered it. As a vital instrument, Allen the hammer naturally reflects the personalities of both Allen the boy and Fellow himself. Both are the type to bottle up their emotions, holding back stress and frustration until it all bursts out at once. Elanos. Elanos is Maimo's vital instrument, and one of the most dangerous Jinki in existence. Normally, it's just a microphone, the perfect tool for a reporter like Maimo. But when activated, Elanos gives him the power of absolute mind control. For context, Maimo is a well-known news reporter on the ground, but beneath that image, he hides a twisted ambition. His dream is peace, but the kind of peace where he rules the world and everyone is under his control, forced to move like puppets on strings. Here's how Elanos works. By consuming or drinking a target's blood, Maimo gains control over them through the sound of his mic. Once you're linked to him, his voice overrides your will. It doesn't matter how strong you are. If you're within the range of his broadcast, you're his puppet. A perfect example of this is what he did to Gauntis, the guy who created the chokers and even owned a piece of the Watchman series. After drinking his blood, Maimo completely manipulated him, exploiting his weakness and forcing him to mass-produce chokers. That's where things get terrifying. If Maimo had already sampled the blood of everyone wearing a choker, then all of them would have been under his rule. At the Doll Festival, this power stretched across the entire crowd, controlling every single person within range of Elanos. For 20 years, Maimo kept Gauntis under his control. He threatened his family, his freedom, even his dignity, just to use him for intel through the chokers. But somehow, Gauntis managed to keep some secrets hidden, like the cleaners showing up at the Doll Festival. Maimo thinks maybe Gauntis built some kind of resistance after so many years of being controlled, though that's just a theory. As it stands, Elanos makes Maimo nearly unstoppable. The only known ways to break his control are to rip off the chokers, steal away the microphone, or just take Maimo down directly. But there's one loophole. Amos' vital instrument can override Maimo's commands and take control of the same targets. Shovel. This raider's vital instrument looks like a simple shovel. The first time we see it in action, the wielder sets up a clever trap to capture Rudo. She created a human-like clay doll that disguised itself as a merchant. This merchant spun a story about being attacked by a trash beast and losing precious cargo. That cargo just so happened to be a spherite like Rudo. But the whole act was fake. The merchant, the story, and all of it were nothing more than clay molded by Shovel. With Shovel, the unnamed former raider can spawn hundreds of clay dolls directly from the ground. Solid terrain liquefies like mud, rising up as mud figures under her control. These dolls are fast. In fact, so fast that one managed to appear behind Zonka instantly. Some can even talk and mimic humans well enough to fool others. The catch is, the more she produces at once, the simpler they get. This ability isn't just for creating minions. The terrain itself becomes a weapon for the user's advantage. Basically, she can lure people into the mud and let them sink. One can also hide inside the clay mud, but there's a risk of sinking into it. However, there's one former rider named Konza who is perfect for this kind of job. Snowshoe. Konza's vital instrument is the reason he was the perfect partner for the shovel user. Once activated, they let Konza move across any kind of terrain without slowing down. Thick mud, sticky clay, unstable ground, it doesn't matter. While others sink, stumble, or get trapped, Konza just glides over the surface like it's solid earth. That's why he could pair up so well with the shovel user. While the shovel user turned the battlefield into a swamp of clay and mud, Konza never had to worry about being dragged down. He could move freely in the middle of all that, striking from angles his opponents didn't expect. It doesn't crush or slice like other vital instruments. But considering that Konza is using his snowshoes to move while fighting and not for defense, one can imagine it technically counts as an attacker type. However, it's not as strong as the next one. Twin Dolls. Twin Dolls is an attacker type vital instrument used by the Adoroi brothers. While they look like little moving robot dolls at first, when activated, the twin dolls transform into robot giants that copy the twins' every move. As part of the Cleaner's Danger team, Oto and Ipalte Adoroi belong to a squad made up of the most destructive, strongest fighters the Cleaners have. And unlike the rest of their team, who usually fight alone, the twins fight in perfect synchronization. That's why people call them the two-man battle unit. When they get serious, their fighting style is a mix of acrobatics and hand-to-hand combat. Every punch, every kick, every spin made by the Adoroi twins is matched by their giant dolls, amplifying their moves into massive, crushing blows. In one fight, their flawless teamwork let them smash through dozens of enemy dolls in a single strike. However, as a part of Team Danger, their destructive power is so overwhelming that it can put other cleaners at risk. They're dangerous to fight against, but just as dangerous to fight alongside. When they attack together, their synchronized smash can turn an entire stage into ruins. In Synchro Battle Mode, the twin dolls unleash a move called Omnidirectional Cross Skadoosh, spinning in every direction and knocking down giant vital instruments with a single strike. There are 3 more types of vital instruments left: the Defender types, the Succession types, and lastly, the Watchman series. Which one do you want to see explained next? Let me know in the comments. And if you want to dig deeper into the world of Gachiakuta and its craziest secrets, this next video is where you go.